Hey guys, welcome to the channel. How is it going? So today in this video we are going to talk about the web novel chapter 229, and let me tell you that this story is connected to our previous videos. Make sure you watch it. Now without wasting time, let's begin the video. At that moment, Ramiris muttered silently, "Ah, the isolation has been completed." Suddenly, as if it was a trifling matter. Hearing that, the surrounding people started moving hurriedly. At the same time, Benimaru too. "Did you hear, you fools? From this point on, the Labyrinth's support effects are absent there. You won't be resurrected if you die, so brace yourselves. Rimuru-sama won't permit any of you dying, so act accordingly." He sent a thought transmission to all the allies intercepting Dino and the others on the 75th floor. Everything was going according to plan. Everyone who received the transmission showed no signs of unrest. They accepted it as completely natural. And then, hearing that transmission, there was one who began their action, quietly and precisely. The plan had entered the final phase. Zero was gradually progressing the Labyrinth's encroachment. Absorption rate had crossed 90%. There was no feeling of joy in him. What pushed him forward was just the fact that accomplishing the task given to him was of utmost importance. Abiding by Velda's plan, he steadily went on encroaching in the enemy's base, the Labyrinth. If he just takes away the Labyrinth from them, he will also be able to grasp all authority inside the Labyrinth. Foolish. He ended up saying out unintentionally. He wasn't expecting a reply or anything, but don't be so full of yourself. Know that the likes of you will not be able to drop this Labyrinth. In the empty space, a cold voice resounded. Zero's consciousness caught on to something that would normally be impossible to detect. It was one butterfly. A butterfly with a beautiful light was fluttering in the sky. And then, the butterfly's silhouette became hazy and slowly took the form of a person. Into a warrior's shape protected by jet black adamantite. Who is it? Floors above 60 are under my rule. I did not feel anyone invading. Simple. I have been here from the start, that's all there is to it. I see. That was a blind spot. You might have lived if you kept yourself hidden till the end. But, in the end, it's only a matter of sooner or later. Become my food and die. Zero thought that the small boy had come revealing himself because he was scared of being trapped inside. Zero didn't realize that the boy's words sounded like he had realized Zero's plans. The encroachment of the Labyrinth was going steadily with the rate over 90%. The few dragons he created all went towards their prey at once and disappeared with a flash of light. How? To be able to bury my dragons so easily. So you're not just a scaredy cat who was hiding. I am Zero, the one commanding the Heaven's army to destroy this country. I will acknowledge you as an opponent to be defeated. State your name. Judging from the fact that he didn't come attacking Zero during the time Zero was taking the 60th floor, Zero was still underestimating his opponent. However, the being standing in front of Zero possessed combat ability far higher than what Zero assumed. After all, that being is. My name is Zijin. Humble servant of the great demon lord, Rimuru-sama. I have been crowned with the name Mist Lord. The strongest man, who defends Ramiris Labyrinth. Following orders, Zijin faced Zero. The Labyrinth, which they should protect. Zijin will not forgive anyone who stains the Labyrinth. And as such, it was inevitable. And that is how Zijin and Zero's fight had begun. The reason why Zijin didn't attack in the first place was evident. Because he had heard that it was Rimuru's orders. If it was not so, he wouldn't have stayed silent and let this invasion go on. Yes, although rare, Zijin was angry. He slowly stood up and took his stance. Are you sure you should have waited for my preparations to be complete? Your confidence probably lies on the Labyrinth's absolute immortality. But can you really say that that is guaranteed to work? Because you have the guarantee of reviving even if you lose is the reason you can challenge others to a fight without even caring about the difference in strength. I shall teach you that way of thinking is wrong. Because, that was all he could say. Zero's aim was to unsettle Zijin by letting him know that he had taken away the Labyrinth's immortality, but Zero couldn't achieve that goal. Because Zijin had already reached the limit of his patience. Death to the beings who pollute the Labyrinth. That was the imperial command given to Zijin by Rimuru. It was his meaning to life. As Ramiris preparations were complete and a part of the Labyrinth's isolation was done, there was no need for him to endure it anymore whatsoever. Zijin released his feelings of anger and sealed Zero's words. Receiving an intense impact, Zero stumbled. He didn't quite receive any damage as he immediately thrust his shield forward, but he still couldn't cancel out the intense momentum. The impact was due to Zijin's kick. He had closed the gap between them in a moment, and the origin of the attack could be seen from his raised leg. He then slowly lowered his leg while keeping Zero in his sight. "You're tough. Shall I make it a bit stronger next time?" As he said that, Zijin disappeared. Zijin's super fast movements slipped through Zero's perception. Thanks to the combat training inside the labyrinth, his fighting techniques were evolving day by day. By activating his ultimate skill, Master Shield, Zero was able to escape danger narrowly. While being protected by that absolute defense, Zero reflected upon his underestimation of that being called Zijin. To think someone as strong as this still existed. Demon Lord Rimuru, can't underestimate him, but Zero was confident that his master, Velda's prediction is correct without a doubt. There's no way a Demon Lord, who has this strong of an underling, would die right off the bat. While thinking that, he also analyzed Zijin's abilities. He could predict that Zijin was probably a spiritual life form from his overwhelming mobility. Because someone who is a slave to the flesh can't move like that. However, even if that were so, it wasn't like Zero had no ways to attack. His hand-to-hand combat is wonderful. But, that's all. Just someone who attacks recklessly. There is no way he could break through Zero's defense. That's how Zero evaluated Zijin and lost interest. It was so interesting. "I shall show you my power, as respect for letting me have a little fun. Eat this, Zero Field Wave." Zero released with absolute confidence, the wave of annihilation. It was a wave which turns all waves, meaning the frequency of all kinds of energy, to zero. That also applied to living beings, and angels, or demons weren't any exception either. Zero Field Wave was the strongest attack Zero could use, with all his energy. Even if it's Zijin, in front of that sure kill attack, futile. That is an attack which converts one's own energy to waves, am I correct? It was splendid how it adjusts to match the targets, cancelling out frequency immediately, but at the end, it's just an auto-adjustment. I see that it is of the same fundamentals as your auto-defense. An attack of that level won't work on me. He was about to confirm the effects of his sure kill attack of annihilation, but seeing Zijin stand there, unwounded, Zero felt anxiety for the first time. Impossible, you understood its theory with a glance. Ridiculous. It's also a wave, that negates another wave. If so, all I need to do is wrap it up. Not opposing the flow and identifying with it is, in fact, the truth of the universe. It's dreamy and simply elegant. To me, seeing through your wave was nothing but a trivial task. You would be nothing more than trash to Rimuru-sama or Feldera-sama. The moment Zero used his ability to convert his energy into waves, Zijin had used Illusion King Mephisto to create an illusionary world. The world, in which even the flow of time can be distorted by Zijin's will, by his imagination. With this ability, it was no trouble for Zijin to ascertain Zero's annihilation wave and deal with it. Koog. But, just because you blocked my attack, it doesn't mean a thing since your attacks don't have any effect on me. Zero decided on prioritizing the Labyrinth's encroachment instead of attacking Zijin. He thought that it would be possible to trap Zijin in the Labyrinth's infinite hallway after taking the Labyrinth's power. However, not paying any heed to Zero's calculations, Zijin simply followed his own feelings. In other words, he striked Zero with his fist in anger. An attack like that won't work, I say. Zero was just about to say it won't work, but he was cut off in the middle. Following Zijin's imagination, the core of Zero's absolute defense, his shield, Zero, was broken. Wah! Impossible, this can't be. An impossible scene had developed before Zero's eyes, which broke all sort of common sense. Each and every shield, Zero, he kept making to block Zijin's fierce attacks kept getting destroyed. Only the afterglow of Zijin's armor could be seen as he attacked Zero from all directions. Getting a premonition of danger, Zero deployed Master Shield with full energy. It's futile. Your abilities probably boast absolute strength in the material world. However, in the spiritual world, it is meager. And because of that, it turns out like this. Zijin's right hand shone. All the shields, Zero, protecting Zero's body got destroyed clean off by Zijin's Dimension Ray. But, I somehow endured his attack. Breathing heavily, the moment he thought that Zijin disappeared like the mist and kicked him from behind, piercing through him. Go AA! Zijin had charged the kick with waves. The annihilation wave Zero used on Zijin just a while ago was thrown back at him. But Zero dealt with it immediately and stopped it to the point a part of his energies got annihilated. The way he dealt with it was wonderful. However, Zero had also perceived that he had reached a situation where it didn't even matter. Zero realized his defeat in a moment and took the best possible action he could there. In other words, escape. Zero promptly assimilated his body with the labyrinth and headed towards the lower floors. Right after, he lost connection with the part of his body which he abandoned. It was exterminated by Zijin. Not having felt anything like this before, which he was experiencing the first time after being born, Zero accelerated the encroachment of the labyrinth. He was trapped by the compulsive idea that he was being chased by something. And then, his absorption of the labyrinth was over and he got hold of the labyrinth's power. He could then feel a large energy inside his body, in the inner portions of the labyrinth. Zero was delighted and moved forward towards the prey to strengthen himself. Zijin pulled back his left hand and glanced towards the lower floors. Confirming Zero's escape just as planned, he muttered, "Mission accomplished." Just like Benimaru and Ramirez had requested, he cornered and let Zero escape. Everything is as Rimuru-sama pleases. Afterwards, Zijin quietly started walking towards the hole to the lower floors his attack had created. At the control room, everyone was lost for words. It hadn't even been 3 minutes since Zijin started moving. But still, the report came in easily that the mission was completed. Maybe because they had isolated the labyrinth that the fight scenes couldn't be displayed on the big screen. Looks like Zijin was seriously pissed. We should be glad he let him live according to the plan. If I hadn't spoken of Rimuru's name, he probably wouldn't even listen. Yeah. He probably wouldn't have listened to my orders either, so I think it was right to speak of Rimuru. Right? But I still didn't think he would be this pissed. That's true. Saying that, the two of them nodded. As if to agree with the both of them, everyone in the control room were also nodding. But, why did Rimuru-sama give such an order? Shuna asked, which was rare of her. The one who answered that was, "You will probably understand if you keep watching." Ramirez. In that moment, at that place, Ramirez was the only one who realized the reason behind such an intricate order. Even Benimaru didn't completely realize the essence of the order. Everyone in the control room could only nod to Ramirez's words. In a short while, the plan inside the labyrinth would welcome its end. Even without hurrying, the result will be clear in a while. Preparing for that moment, all of them started their work once again. So guys, this was all for today's video. Thanks for watching.